everybody. It's a lovely morning here, Suckley, Sunday the 14th of May. Weather is beautiful this morning. We've had some very nice rain, which has been welcomed by the growers. The weather this month in April, we're now to May, and April has been very dry, and the hops are starting to show signs of not growing so quickly. I wouldn't say suffering, but not quite growing as quickly as they perhaps should. But even overnight, the last couple of days where we've had some rain, these plants have really shot on. So these are the sovereign we're looking at now. They're starting to climb the hedgerow, and there's one or two plants there that are getting over the top, which is quite interesting. Those are probably some males in there, which grow a lot quicker at this stage in the year. And if we turn around, we can see here we've got the Gouldings plants, and these are looking very well. And the Gouldings have been tied now. The tyres have been through here and just trained these plants up so that they're selecting away the best one or two shoots to grow. And now you can see they're getting really getting hold and wrapping nicely around the strings there. We can have a look at that one. There we go. So they're looking very nice now, and this weather is really going to help. The forecast is for a bit warmer, which is good because it's been quite cold as well. There's been probably one of the driest Aprils on record, so cold and dry, not a good combination. But hopefully now that the weather is getting better, these will start to move on a little bit, and the plants will start to shoot up those strings. We've now moved on to the patch of land that's going to go down to going planted with Olicana later this year, all being well. And you can see the manure went on earlier in the season. The ground got very dry, so the manure hasn't really had a chance to get into the soil there. This is the rain, the effect of the rain and the sunshine on this now will bring this tilth down. You can see still some pretty big clods in there. Hopefully the action of the rain and the sunshine will start to break that down a little bit and form a nice tilth for in the next month or two when the baby plants will be planted out here. You can see in the distance there the Malvern Hills. Beautiful morning again, I said this morning. It's nice and sunny after the rain last night. But if we walk a bit further on down here, these are the baby Jesters down here, and the Jester plants have really taken well. There's a really good uptake of the plants. Normally you expect a few to die off, but these have really performed well. And you can see there now that bit of fresh rain last night, it's really freshened them up and starting to look quite healthy. Without the rain they were really starting to struggle. Baby plants haven't got a deep root, and they can't draw on the big reserves down deeper in the soil. But they're now starting to come better. They're actually looking very well. One or two gaps in there, as we said before, but plants are now starting to grow up. So these are the Jester. I think we've all been trained now. All the plants on the farm have been trained, so just tied around those strings, and it's all looking very tidy. Now moved on to the Pilgrim hops, and this is where we had the experiment earlier on in the season where we've had some of the hops being burnt off and right back to the ground, and these weaker ones on the end here have been left to grow, and the cold weather has sort of slowed those up, and there's very little difference now between those and the plants that have actually been burnt off. In fact, I struggle to see where the line is now, but it looks like the team have been here and they've burnt off this row here. You can see in the bottom, those bottom shoots are starting to look a little bit browner, and on this row next to it on the left hand side they're still green. I think these were the ones which were burnt off earlier on, and in this row here, just to control that extra growth, I've been through and just sprayed out the bottom of those plants there, and that'll help just to select the vines that are going up the strings and get those away, and keep the ones below back. Now it's a pretty harsh system, but it doesn't harm the actual two bines that grow up the string too much. They've got rather woody bine, which is resistant to the spray that goes on, so that's good. And these will grow away quite quickly now because all the nutrients will start to go into those those plants into those shoots that are going up the strings, and the ones below will die away, so there's going to be an extra dose of nutrients going up those plants. So looking well here. And here we are now at the Jester plants. These are the 3-year-old. These are a bit older than the ones we were looking at earlier. But you can see there's a bit more growth coming out of the bottom of the plants now, so instead of just 1 or 2 shoots coming out of the ground, there's a few more coming out, and as the plants get older they produce more shoots at the start of each year. But these have been tied and trained, so they're looking well, and this weather will send them on quite nicely. Good ground cover here as well. They do tend to shroud the string, get over the strings quite quickly, and this sort of stops the weed development in the bottom of the plants, in the base there, which is good. And wander a bit further along, this yard then splits out into a variety called Phoenix, and you can see the colour change in the plants. On the right hand side there is the Jester. On the left hand side, slightly duller grey, slightly taller. The plants are slightly further on, and that's because Phoenix is an early variety. It will be harvested, one of the first varieties to be harvested on the farm, so that'll be the reason for it being higher up the strings. And Phoenix is grown by very few growers now, only 2 or 3 growers growing it, but a very nice variety. So lots of molasses and caramel sort of flavours in there. Very nice hop to use. The dark beers, and gives a nice rounded bitterness as well. But this is Phoenix. Not an awful lot of it grown to say, but looking well again.